Okay, we're here with Wes Vernon from Sheffield Teaching Hospitals, who's going to talk to us about forensic podiatry. Thank you, Wes.
That's okay.
Wes, can you just explain to us briefly what forensic podiatry is to start with?
Well, there is a formal definition of forensic podiatry, and it's basically the use of podiatrist knowledge to identify human beings, usually criminals associated with crime scenes, but it can also be dead people too.
Okay, very interesting. So, how did you get into podiatry and forensics? Where did the two meet?
Well, it actually started before I went into podiatry when I was at school, and for reasons best known to myself, I had a holiday job at the local mortuary where I thought I was interested in being a forensic pathologist. Now that wasn't to be. I ended up studying podiatry, and when I started at college I began to see things that we do as podiatrists that could help in the identification scenario. So that's where it started to me.
Ah, okay. So how did the whole field of forensic podiatry kind of develop? Because it's a relatively new area, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends which way you look at it. Podiatrists have been talking about this since 1921. They were saying things in the literature that, well, we could use our knowledge in identification, but nobody did anything about it. Until 1970, when Dr. Norman Gunn over in Canada was asked as a podiatrist if he could help with a case over there. So Norm was the first person to start undertaking forensic podiatry casework.
Okay.
For me it started when I did the end-on degree conversion, and that gave me the opportunity to do some basic research in it, which led to more research, which led to contacts, and I started doing casework in 1995. But the research came first for me. Test things by research, and then they're ready to use in practice.
Okay. So I know you wear multiple hats in various sort of branches of the work that you do. But with regard to the forensic podiatry, what sort of things do you get involved with?
Right. There are 4 branches of practice: identification of dead people using podiatrist records, bare footprint identification. Identifications using the wear features of people's shoes. So that's about linking the person to the shoe rather than the shoe to the crime scene, and forensic gait analysis. So on that I'm involved with casework, research, and then the teaching and education of this.
Okay. So as far as the research is concerned, obviously again it's a relatively new field. Are you alone in doing this research in the UK, or is there a growing band of researchers? Or?
There's a growing band of researchers.
Brilliant.
There are a number of people that do this for an undergraduate project. There have been a smaller number of people who've done it at master's level, and an even smaller number who are working on or have attempted PhDs in this particular area.
Okay, brilliant. So then as far as sort of the work on actual cases, I'm guessing your services are required all over the place.
Yeah, this is really escalating. I mean, I'm off to Australia next week with a case I've been involved in over there. Done various cases across Europe, and obviously a lot in the UK.
Yeah, okay. So as far as, I know it's not currently a huge proportion of podiatrists in the UK who are involved, it's a very small number. But if somebody was coming into the profession and did have an interest in it, could you advise somebody on how they might start to get involved?
Well, first of all, I'd advise them to go and have a talk to me, and then and I could
Sheffield Teaching Hospitals.
And I could stop them making a few basic errors.
Yeah.
And I would then point them in the direction of a role and scope of practice document, because I've been doing a lot of work over the last 4 years on governance, and one of the pieces of work there was to define our role and scope of practice. And in doing that, I've suggested the sort of training podiatrists need to do this work. So you need to be a podiatrist, you need to have undertaken such training that would allow you to work in a medical legal context, and also training that would give you competence as a forensic practitioner.
Okay, so that would be a really good starting point for anybody kind of thinking about it.
Yeah, there are no shortcuts in it.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I can understand that. So if we've got undergraduate students who are interested in the subject, you'd be kind of the man to go to in the UK, I'm guessing?
Probably. I mean, there are 1 or 2 other podiatrists who act as mentors for people in this field, but I've probably got the broadest knowledge of it.
And if you've got the connection, so you could connect people if they needed to be.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, well that's really, really helpful, Wes. Thanks very much for giving us that bit of insight into forensic podiatry.
That's okay.
Cheers, thank you.